Greetings everyone, my name is Zetterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered the longer viewer submitted level Mega Man 3 Megamix by Mr. Doc Robot. So in this part, I'll be covering at least 4 or 5 more viewer submitted levels, starting out with this one. SMB2 World 1 by Risad the Moose, with 21 plays and a score of 1. This is going to be a remix or a recreation of the first world from Super Mario Bros. 2 for the NES. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a future part like this one, please leave both the level name and level ID either in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for all the levels I cover in these parts, so if you want to check if your level is covered, expand the description. From what I've heard, this stage is at least 138 screens long. However, that is slightly inaccurate, as most of those screens, or at least several of them, are empty screens made to just fix the scrolling and prevent some odd issues. So let's start this out. Just like in Super Mario Bros. 2, at the beginning of each level, we have a choice between playing as the 3 selectable characters, Mega Man, Proto Man, or Bass. However, for this stage, I suggest you only play as Proto Man or Bass. Mega Man can only jump and shoot, he doesn't have access to charge shots, and most importantly, he cannot slide whatsoever. Proto Man can jump, shoot, charge, and slide, and Bass has the ability to double jump and dash. If Mega Man had the ability to do the full charge shots or slide, I suggest you play as him, but otherwise, it's just he's the weakest of the bunch. It's either better to play as Proto Man or Bass. I mean, Proto Man doesn't even take double damage. Also, as an important note, in order to get a secret ending of this stage, you need to play as certain characters in order to get enough keys in order to do so. Because of that, I'll be deliberately playing as certain characters in a certain order. So in order to get the first key for the first stage, I'll be playing as Bass. Well, you don't need to play as Bass in order to get the first key, but if you play as Bass, you can get an extra item without having to spend that key. Just like in the original, we start by dropping out of the ceiling, or dropping out of the sky. So here we go. Those are the recreations of the trees. I'm going to show off that teleporter just for now, but just to show where it goes. Just like in the original game, this goes over to the underground area. And to the left here is a key door. Do not use the key in this level for this key door. There is another way of getting what's on the other side of that key door. And in order to do that, you need to be playing as Bass. Instead of taking the upper route, take the lower route and skip past most of these picket men. Just damage boost through this one because it's a lot faster. And here's the first key. There's actually at least 4 or 5 keys in this stage, but you want to conserve at least 3 for the final area. I would have liked if the background had some clouds in it, but I don't think that's available in Mega Man Maker yet. Good checkpoint placement. I think this is where the checkpoint would be in the original game as well. Now you can get by completing the stage without getting most of the keys, but if you do get all the keys, you get a secret. And if you play as the correct set of characters in the correct order, you'll be able to unlock all the 3 special weapons of this stage, as well as the secret. And just like in the original level 1, at the end of this stage we fight Birdo, or in this case, a hot dog. To be fair, this is more difficult to fight than Birdo was. Now, play as base over here. Use double jump and you can jump right over the wall, and you gain access to a free E-tank. See this teleporter? Yep, it was on the opposite side of that door. If you want to go to the stage quicker, just get the key and unlock that key door, but that will disqualify you from getting the secret because you won't have enough keys. And there we'd enter through the Hawk statue's maw, and now we're in level 2. In this stage, as well as level 1, play as base. Technically, you could have played as Mega Man in the first level as long as you didn't want to get that free E-tank. But for stage 2, you need to be playing as base in order to get the extra key you need. If I recall correctly, there was a magic carpet ride over here. Be careful of the stuttering though, it can result in your death. Really close call over there. It's because of this segment I highly suggest you play as base over here. Similar to how playing as Peach would make this segment a lot easier in the original game. Over here we can just dive into this vase. Now this vase is mandatory for the secret. It has a second key after all. The lagging and stuttering isn't as bad as the previous level I played in the previous part. Now you need to be playing as base over here in order to make this jump. Actually, you could do this as Mega Man or Proto Man now that I think about it, by careful usage of the toss spin, but it's much easier to do it as base. And up here you gain access to the toss spin and Crash Bomb. If you're going through the stage by unlocking that key door, you would have unlocked Crash Bomb on the other side. So here we are in the second part of level 2. In this part, you are forced to use Crash Bomb, so either pick it up in that other segment, or the upper segment which I use basic double jump over. Thankfully there's full refills of the Crash Bomb available over here, so there's no chance of getting soft locked, or being forced to reset to the next checkpoint. And that's the end of level 2. Now for level 3, you must play as Proto Man. In the previous 2 stages, you could have played as either Mega Man or Proto Man, but in this 3rd stage, you need to be playing as Proto Man due to his sliding ability. Mega Man unfortunately cannot slide, so you must play as Proto Man in order to access the secret. The one that requires the 3 keys, that is. You can collect the 3rd and final key as base, but unfortunately, you cannot access the secret unless you have access to sliding, so you must play as Proto Man here. And you cannot switch characters midway through the stage. As you can see over here, Proto Man does not take double damage from attacks. Honestly, I think he should have, because otherwise he's completely superior to playing as Mega Man. I mean, at least give Mega Man the Mega Man 5 or Mega Man 6 charge shot, or have Proto Man take double damage. Otherwise, the character selection is rather unbalanced. Proto Man and Base simply outclass Mega Man here. Make sure to jump over this teleporter for now. And unlock this key door. Don't worry, we'll have enough spare keys in order to unlock the secret. In fact, you don't actually need to unlock this key door, but if you do so, you gain access to Bomb Man's weakness at this stage. And you're taken to the bottom of this stage. Now, make sure not to unlock that key door just yet. There is a key in this upper segment, and you will need it in order to unlock the secret at the end. In fact, let me showcase where that teleporter leads to. Just right over here. Now, if you're playing as Mega Man or Proto Man, you'll need to lure up a telly up there in order to make the jump, aka bounce off of it using the top spin. But of course, if you're playing as Base, you can just easily double jump. This segment's a little bit frustrating. Mainly due to the slide jump you need to do over here. And other enemies off screen. Because if you fail that jump, it's more likely than not that that beak on the right will respawn. And because of all those enemies over there, mainly due to the gyres, it's quite laggy, which makes it a little bit more of a nuisance to go through. And there's our third key. The way down is a lot easier than the way up. In fact, it's faster and easier to just use a teleport over here and teleport to that area. That way I don't need to go through that enemy gauntlet again. If you followed my steps to the letter, you should have 2 keys remaining. Be careful though, if you die you're sent all the way back to that checkpoint, meaning that you need to recollect that key at the top of the tower. Be cautious here, especially with all of the projectiles coming at you. Feel free to use your E-tanks. Don't worry, you have 3 spare E-tanks if you collect all of them like I did, plus you'll get a lot more soon enough. Here's the third and final key. Do not unlock this key door. Instead, go over here and slide underneath there. That's why I said you need to be playing as Proto Man, otherwise you will not be able to go through there. Well, you could actually play as base and jump over the ceiling, but you'll encounter a problem soon enough of why I don't recommend it. You just need to learn how to time the Yoko blocks and it should be fine, but I'm always really wary because of the increased lag that randomly happens. Like, there's a minor stutter that happens there that really makes me worried that I'm not going to make the jump. Now, if you made it past that segment as base, well, you're out of luck because the secret is to the right over here, but you need to have access to sliding, hence why you need to be playing as Proto Man for Stage 3. Well, for Stages 1 through 2, you can play as Mega Man or Proto Man, but here you're forced to be playing as Proto Man. As long as you have access to 3 spare keys, you can unlock these series of doors. And you get this message saying that you are a super player. And by jumping down over here, we get access to a whole slew of M and E tanks. Hence why I said it's okay to spam your E tanks in that previous segment. Better than dying, after all. So that's our reward for keeping 3 keys until the end of this stage. And we're taken right to the end of this level. Now the only thing left is to fight Bomb Man. Which is quite appropriate because the original boss of World 1 and Super Mario Bros. 2 was a bomb-throwing rat after all. Before we begin, let me consume an E-tank. And here we fight Bomb Man, the replacement for the bomb-throwing rat whose name I forget right now. His weakness is, of course, the Hyper Bomb. Unfortunately, it's a bit harder than the original fight because of how crazily Bomb Man can jump around. So that was the end of Super Mario Bros. 2 World 1. Honestly, I think I like it more than Mega Man 3 Mega Mix of the previous part. It's a better recreation is all what I'm saying. 6.5 out of 10. Second level on the lineup is Babylon City by Nickelasse, with 202 plays and a score of 81. So another very well regarded level by Nickelasse. And of course, it's going to be much shorter than the previous stage. I get the impression that Quickstand is going to be one of the main gimmicks of this stage. And we're going to be unlocking the Power Stone and Ferro Shot throughout this level. Just wanted to check there to see if there were any hidden goodies, because I know a few fan games did something to that extent. That's a nice way of introducing the duck runs here, because they're placed in an environment where players, as long as they stand still and don't move forward, they won't get hit by it, so they can observe their behavior. The introduction of these enemies is a bit more dangerous, but because they're placed a bit farther away, players have more time to react to the shots. Same with the Skullmets and the Gyries. Now we have the duck runs placed in front of the player where they're more likely to get hit by them. And the Mamiras are placed far enough away from the players so players have time to react to their projectile shot. Same with those rock thrones or bomb thrones. Because of how they're placed behind that wall, Their first shot will not hit the player, as well as several of their shots, so players can get acclimated to their shot pattern. Now the bomb drones are being placed in open air environments where players are more likely to get hit by them, and we're combining usage of them with the gyres too, so nice challenge progression. Good checkpoint placement, and it seems that we have two alternate routes. Let me take the upper one first to see if it's an alternate route or it's there for some secrets. If it's actually an alternate route, and I get near a next checkpoint, I'll reset at this checkpoint and see where the lower route leads to. And I see we're entering the sandy portion of this temple. And we're being introduced to the gyre spawners as well. And I see we're now utilizing the sand droppers, or the quicksand emitters, which remember you can climb upwards by continuously jumping. If you want to use the drill bomb here, you can just bypass this boss fight, which I will do here. I reached the next checkpoint, so I'll do a quick reset to see where the lower route leads to. Hopefully it's a different route, so I don't need to repeat that segment. Oh, never mind, it isn't a different route, it's just there for the fair shot. Sure, let's go for it. Probably should have peeked down this route first. Well, that was easy. I was expecting something a lot more difficult. So, time to speedrun, I guess. Also, that's a nice way of introducing the quicksand emitters. Remember, they wiggle 6 times before they throw out the rings, so it's a lot more consistent than in the original Ringman stage. I do approve of this change in the Mega Man Maker engine, so good work there, devs. Also good checkpoint placement, placed after every 10 or 11 screens. Same with the first checkpoint, actually. Okay then, I was waiting for Yoku blocks to spawn there. Good thing I did not jump down there. Also one of the places where the fair shots, diagonal shots would be super helpful. Yeah, this segment is really showcasing how the fair shots, diagonal shots are really helpful. But remember, all of these segments are doable buster only, just like any good traditional level. That's a creative usage of the gyre spawners. I haven't seen that done before, where we're basically using them as makeshift crystal droppers, though on a more consistent timer. Another big whopper. And that's it. That's the end of the stage. A bit longer than the usual traditional level because it had one extra segment, probably about 10 or 11 screens longer. But it was nice, at least 30 to 35 screens long, nice challenge progression, and nice recombination of gimmicks. I was a bit worried over there. Of course, Fairman's weakness is the Pharaoh shot. Honestly, I think this Fairman encounter is easier than the original version, because he cannot jump around. Well, he can't jump around horizontally, but he can jump around vertically, meaning that dodging his shots is a lot easier. You don't need to worry about him ramming into you. Great stage overall, nice challenge progression, nice introduction to recombination of gimmicks, great checkpoint placement, and the stage overall felt fair. It fit well as a traditional level in the NES titles. Third level on the lineup is Mega Man Up Tempest Man by Kek Daniel the Crocodile, aka ShallotMussels' alternate account, with 26 plays and a score of 6. I guess this'll be another traditional level. Well, I suppose so, because we will not have access to any special weapons. Either that, or it'll be a fortress stage. Okay then, that's a neat way of introducing the crash lifts and the crazy cannons, aka the shotmen. As well as the junk blocks over there. There will probably come a point later in the stage where it's a bad idea to destroy the junk blocks. That's neat. We're combining usage of junk blocks and crash lifts. Good checkpoint placement. Is this a new gimmick of this stage where these Galaxy Man teleporters are gonna act like launchers? It seems to be. A little bit more dangerous a crash lift segment where we need to follow it around and destroy these junk blocks in time. And I see we need the key over there, so we need to rush to the left. Oh, okay. So I guess we need to lure it onto the other part of the screen. I see. Okay then, that's a bit awkward, but it works. So it just freezes in place at the end of the screen. Okay, so when it reaches the edge of the screen transition, it'll freeze until you move on to the other screen. Good to know. So it can't just outrun you. Or just leave the screen entirely. Not the screen exactly, but the section, I mean. There's probably a row of spikes down over there, so I won't jump down there. Nah, I won't go for that E-Tank, I don't need it. After all, the boss of this stage is only Iceman. If it was Ringman or a more difficult boss like Fairman, I'd probably go for it, but here it's not necessary. After all, the boss is right over here, and the checkpoint was placed right over here. About the length and the same placement as a traditional NES title would do. Okay, so this is a neat boss arena. This will become more important if Iceman decides to step on one of these crash lifts, like here. Well, okay then, I managed to defeat Iceman damageless here. Then again, Iceman's weakness here was the Mega Buster. Still, this is a neat arena. Overall, a pretty nice level, although I liked Babylon City more than this one. Fourth level on the lineup is Woctor Dialy's Training Grounds Base Version 1 by Woctor Dialy, with 9 plays and a score of 2. The last level by Woctor Dialy I played was kind of a Kaiser level, so let's hope that this stage isn't as difficult as that one was. Then again, this is labeled as a Training Ground stage, so I guess it's going to train us on Base's movement and firing abilities, specifically double jumping, dashing, and Base's diagonal firing patterns, like here for example. And you do need the key in order to proceed onwards. The most annoying enemies for Base I find are stuff like the Beaks, or rather the Screw Bombers, because they take 6 hits to destroy now, and they can be placed in rather annoying locations. At least when playing as Mega Man they only take 3 hits, and they can be one-shotted if you have access to charge shots. Good checkpoint placement? I guess that was phase 1 of the tutorial, now we're in phase 2. I mean, we're going to unlock the super arrow later in the stage, so I wonder if we're going to combine usage of Base's abilities and his super arrow. I know one stage in the past did that. That's key door number 2. Oh, I see. This is going to be a little bit of a pickle. Just make sure not to get knocked off the ladder here. Key door number 3 unlocked. Good checkpoint placement. It's placed a bit closer than number 1 was to number 2, but it makes sense. Now on Shadow Man platforms. And there's a super arrow down over there. Let's see how to get it. Wait a minute. Let me backtrack a little bit. There's probably a Galaxy Man teleporter that leads over here because I cannot make the jump using dash jumping. Well, that sucked. For some reason, my dashing didn't work the way intended. Oh well, the checkpoint was just in the earlier part of the segment, so... not a major loss. Ah, I see. That's how I get it. I meant to do a double jump over there, but apparently I did it too late. There we go. I did a jump cut over there, and I basically died 5 times off screen. You need to be careful when doing dash jumping so that your second jump doesn't just get eaten by something. So just use this to ride all the way back to the right. Good checkpoint placement. That's a clever way of looping up the stage. Going over the same areas more than once, but on the second or third run-throughs it goes faster, aka it has some shortcuts. Damage boosting for the win. I'm not sure if that was intended, but I'll take it. I'll take any shortcut I can get. I see the use super arrow sign over there. And over here. Thank you for sticking onto the spikes there. I genuinely appreciate it. Another big eye. Well, I'm glad to see that there are some shortcuts you can do by damage boosting. Now onto this segment. Oh. I need to do it quickly so I can make it before that red force beam gets sent on the left. Oh, another one of these. Well, the stage is certainly getting harder. It's turning more into a puzzle level, actually. I don't know if that's how you're supposed to do it, but I did it that way, after about a dozen deaths off screen. But thank you for increasing the amount of checkpoints, especially as the risk of incident increases. It's gone from being a tutorial level to a challenge level in some regards. That was my fault for not going all the way forward there and doing a dash jump. But it's a nice bit of levity, especially considering the previous segment's difficulty. And that's why you don't want to use super arrow down over there, because you won't be able to proceed onwards. Yeah, I knew there'd be something up there. But what? An M-tank. Oh, I know. I need to drop down over there, conserve my double jump, spawn the super arrow, and then ride on top of it, and do it in reverse. Nah, I won't take it. Too risky. But it's there for more advanced players. Made it, but now I need to survive. Thank you for the full refills, or at least the decent refills. Wow, the engine almost killed me there for eating my jump input, but somehow I was able to recover. Another good checkpoint placement, and I see a fish over there, or rather shrink. So down we go. There is probably something to the left over there. Perhaps a separate route? But there also seems to be a lower route. Oh, wait a minute, I already went through this route. But I exited from the top right. Oh, I see. I probably need to get a key over here in order to access that area. On the bottom right this time. So let's go there instead. Clever. That's a nice way of looping up the stage. So that area on the top I need to access in order to get the key over here in order to complete the stage. Very creative design. Very nice way of reusing the stage. And now it's time to fight Crystal Man, whose weakness is of course the super arrow, thankfully. This was a neat level, although it starts out as a tutorial level but quickly becomes a challenge level, especially considering some of these rooms like the force beam room and the key doors and keys. But I liked it. I'd only recommend it for at least intermediate Mega Man players, not for beginner Mega Man Maker players. And due to the length of this stage, this will be the final level I'll cover in this part. So overall, out of the 4 levels I played in this part, my favorite level would definitely be Babylon City by Nickelasse, with an honorable mention going to Woctor Dali's Training Grounds by Woctor Dali. So in the next part, I'll be covering several more viewer submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!